Hello, America. We're with Don Bolduc, retired general, running for the Senate in New Hampshire as the Republican. And it's good to have you back, General. I find it interesting, General, when you were wearing the uniform and when you were a practicing general, you weren't called an extremist then, were you?
No, sir, I was not called an extremist.
Mm-hmm. And your opponent, who is an extremist, when she actually speaks to the voters, she keeps calling you an extremist because you don't believe in partial birth abortion and things like that. How do you respond to this?
Well, it is just a career politician being a career politician, making up lies, exaggerating the truth, trying to turn things emotional, hoping that, I will strike back at her and create a war among our supporters. And, I just stay away from that because I just simply say, listen, you have created 40-year high inflation and soaring interest rates, record high gas prices, diesel shortages, natural gas shortages, wide open border. 98 people this year on the terror watch list have been caught. God knows how many have got away. Fentanyl, opioids are killing our kids. We don't have any law and order because of the fact that you have supported defund the police. Our education in our schools is at an all-time low. It's indoctrination, not education. CRT, gender identity, instead of teaching them, reading, writing, math, history, and civics. Heaven forbid if we teach our children about this great country's Declaration of Independence and Constitutional Republic that you keep referring to as a democracy, because you still will not admit that we live in a constitutional republic. You don't even understand your own oath. So that's what I say, and that's what's resonating, because her logic is not resonating, because it's not logic. It's simply a denial of doing her job and taking care of the people that she's been sworn to take care of.
Well, that doesn't sound extremist to me. That sounds quite mainstream, common sense, red-blooded American. Now, all these years you were general, you also learned leadership. You've also learned how to communicate. You also learned what matters to the country. You're not a lifetime politician. You're a citizen candidate. Why do you think your candidacy is picking up such steam right now?
Well, it's picking up steam because we've invested in the people, much like I did as a leader in the military. I took care of my people, their families, and the mission. And, by doing those three things, you prove to people that you're accountable, responsible, transparent, and that they can trust you. And once they can trust you, you get the momentum that you need. But you have to spend time with them. And that's what we've done. We have created momentum. It is uncontrollable right now. She is stalled because she's done the exact opposite. She's failed to talk to Granite Staters. She's failed to take care of them. I was just at a house party tonight, and the man that was introducing me was brought to tears by what Senator Hassan has failed to do for our Granite Staters, our citizens, for our country. And this was a guy who worked for her when she was governor here. And he has seen a completely different person in Senator Hassan than he saw as governor. And this really disturbs him. And he says, that's why she doesn't get my support. She is not doing the right thing for Granite Staters and has not. She's lost her way. And everybody sees it and knows it, and therefore they want a change, and they're looking towards a guy that was born here, raised here, was a police officer in this state, and served his country for 33 and a half years, and is going to go to Washington, D.C. and work for them.
Now, particularly hitting New England, last time I checked, New Hampshire's in New England, are these stories about shortages of diesel fuel and shortages of home heating fuel. It's already being rationed. It's just that the people don't know it yet because the real cold of winter hasn't hit yet. but there are going to be shortages. Prices are going to go through the roof, and this has a direct link to the position and policies of the Democrat Party in cutting off fossil fuels, cutting off and discouraging investment in fossil fuels. And I think I told you last time we spoke, I've never understood how people in New England have politicians who vote for this stuff, because you have the coldest winters and you're going to have the biggest suffering. And so your opponent has voted for this.
Yeah, she has voted for it. And, you know, as recently as August, voting against turning the spigot on, doubling down on the tax increases in the so-called Inflation Reduction Act, doubling down again in August on the IRS agents. You know, I mean, this just doesn't make any sense to Granite Staters with all the shortages, people choosing between heating and eating. We know we're going to have blackouts. It's been predicted. It's out there. And for the life of me, I can't understand why Democrats and independents and others that you know want, you know, are just voting because of the party and not voting because of the person and what that person represents. And she clearly, regardless of what was on the end of her name as an identifier, has done the wrong thing for the people and for our children and our grandchildren. And, you know, that should be what is apparent. And getting that across, you know, with my money compared to her money, you know, $30 million that she spent, she can propagate lie after lie after lie. In this last debate we did yesterday, I called her on it. I said, when are you going to stop lying to people? And when are you going to apologize to the Granite Staters for the hardships you have caused? They are significant. They're going to increase. You refuse to even acknowledge the word inflation. And when you do, you blame it on, you know, somebody else outside the United States, whether it's Putin, whether it's other countries. And then you try to make a comparison with other countries to America. And it's a global phenomena, not anything that you and Biden and Schumer and the Democratic Party did, which is another lie. It's well within your control to fix, and you don't do it. And it is very concerning to many people.
And that's the key, I think you just mentioned there. It's within her power to help fix it. And nobody believes that if she's reelected, she's going to fix the problems that she created, that they're going to put together what they broke. They're very ideological. She's extremely ideological, and she's not really in touch with the people of New Hampshire from what I'm hearing. She doesn't even make an effort at it. And so she's hoping to buy her way back into a reelection with money coming in from out of the state. Now, how is the funding in terms of what you're doing now?
Well, the funding has been pouring in. You know, as you know, Senator McConnell removed his $5 million, you know, inexplicably, without explanation. But, you know, Senator Scott from the NRSE came in, you know, full force, as did Ronna McDaniel from the RNC, as did other people across the United States. And we are, you know, made up that difference to be able to put our ads out and continue those ads from now to Election Day, which is very good because it's going to add to our momentum because, you know, it peels apart, you know, the lies that she's been telling and really demonstrates where the blame lies, and it lies on her shoulders. And more importantly, she doesn't have enough guts to stand in front of people and tell them this. You know, she has Zoom calls. You know, I went out and thanked my, you know, door knockers in person, shook their hands in Manchester. She did it via Zoom. She had a spaghetti Zoom dinner with the Cheshire County Democrats, hosted by a multi-billionaire out in California. She did another Zoom call with the Vermont VA. She doesn't want to face people. She thinks she's entitled to this position. She thinks it's hers and that it doesn't belong to the people. And that is a tragic mistake. And, you know, I'm doing the exact opposite, and it is making all the difference in the world.
Just a little footnote for you, and you don't even have to reply. I hope you'll remember. I hope Shabaka remembers in Alaska, and I hope Blake Masters remembers in Arizona. What Mitch McConnell has done to all three of you at the end of this election, where patriots have decided to step in and said, wait a minute, we want that general in the Senate. And people have stepped up, including in this audience. It's very, very important. And I wish you all the best. Where do people go around the country if they want to help your campaign? Because if you win, that is a big, big deal.
It is a big deal. And they can go to DonBolduc.com. That's Don Bolduc, Bolduc. And I realize this tough economic times, but I'll remind everybody that anything you give helps, and it's greatly appreciated. And I will go down there and work for you, and we will reverse all the bad things that have been done to Americans. I promise you.
All right, my friend. God bless. Thank you for your past service as well. That's DonBolduc.com, Don, Bolduc.com. Thank you, sir, and we'll be right back.